Hey guys, okay, for those of you that are inquiring how my different programs are set up when you come to me for training, okay? Most of the questions are about private lessons, so let's discuss that. If you are within driving distance, if you are local to me, meaning within about 2 hours, if you're going to do private lessons, you have options. The way we normally do it is, let's say we have our first session on a Saturday. The first session's usually going to run a little bit long because we have a lot of information to cover. Okay, for the most part, most sessions are between 60 and 90 minutes. There's going to be times they go a little bit longer, especially in the beginning. If we do that first session, we'll do the next session maybe a week later, maybe 2 weeks later. It depends on you, depends how much time you want to cover what we went over. Because remember, when we're doing private sessions, a lot of the focus is on you. My job is to teach you how to be the best dog handler possible. My goals are that if you get another dog 6 months from now or 6 years from now, you don't have to hire another trainer. So your education is very important if we're going to strive for true everlasting results, okay? So if we do the second session 1 week later or 2 weeks later, okay, the third session will be about the same, maybe stretched out a little further. And as we get deeper into the 5-session program, we could start adding more time in between sessions because you'll have a lot that you could work on and practice and get comfortable with things, okay? But again, that's totally up to you. If you want to meet every single week for 5 sessions in a row, 5 weeks in a row, I'm okay with that too. I'm just telling you how it usually works out best for you and how you retain most of the information. Now, within the past year, the majority of my private clients come from all over the country. I don't encourage that. I always try to find them trainers closer to where they're at, but many people insist on coming here, and I'm never going to turn anyone away for that reason. So what they do is crazy, unbelievably committed people. They will spend a few days in an Airbnb or in a hotel. The private sessions, when you live far away, are spread out over 4 sessions, because when you're here, I try to get you out of here a little quicker. So we do 4 sessions. They're just a little bit longer, okay? For those sessions, we meet every day, 4 days in a row. Usually meet in the morning, day 1, 90 minutes, 2 hours, whatever it is. And then for 4 days straight, we cover everything we would as if you were local. And instead of stretching it out over several weeks, maybe even a few months, we do everything consolidated. Everything has pros and cons, but many people over the past year, like I said, travel, and that's what they want to do. They stay here and we train every day. Again, those sessions are going to be about 90 minutes to 2 hours normally. Maybe a little shorter depending on your situation and how much work you need, okay? Those are how I do the private sessions. With my board and trains, I keep the dogs between 3 weeks to a month, normally more like a month. And then once we're done with the board and train portion, private lessons are essential. We cannot provide true everlasting results, again, without owner education. Now, my favorite way to do it, again, this is only if you're local. I get a lot of people in from all over the country. We can't do that with them, but if someone is within 2, maybe even 3 hours to me, I love to be able to do a few private lessons before the board and train, okay? That makes a massive difference for when the dog goes home. For one, we have less to do when the dog goes home, and the learning goes through the roof for the dog and you. So that saves a lot of time, but the dogs do seem to do a lot better. When I started talking about that a few years ago, a lot of dog trainers jumped on that and gave it a try. And every single person that started doing that never looked back. Some people call it a reverse board and train. I don't have a name for it. I just prefer to do, even if it's 1 or 2 private sessions before the board and train, very beneficial. If we don't have that option because you live out of state and are far away, then once you drop the dog off, I'm going to keep the dog as long as I need to. And then once you come to pick the dog up, if you're from out of state, then again, people will usually spend a night or 2 locally to me in an Airbnb or a hotel. So for a couple of days before you go home, I could work with you, teaching you everything we've done. So you can not only keep the progress we've made, but continue it. And then later on in the future, if you get another dog, the goal should be that you don't have to hire me or any other dog trainer. You understand how to teach the dog, how to train the dog, how to raise the dog. So I hope this helps and breaks down the difference between the private lessons and the board and train. Now, I do a lot of online consultations also, a lot of virtual sessions, a lot of phone sessions. The way they work is it's an hour session over the phone or through video. Most people just like do it over the phone. But to make those successful, I always say this isn't mandatory, but I think I'm going to change that because it really is beneficial, unless we're going over a subject that it's not necessary. But for the private sessions, they're an hour long. And what I require from everyone, what I'd like to see anyway, is I ask for 2 very simple, basic videos of you and your dog. 1, doing basic obedience with your dog on leash. Sometimes you're rewarding the behaviors you're asking for, sometimes you're not. You're mixing it up. And also, if you play with your dog, especially if you have the ability to play tug with your dog, again, on leash. Everyone wants to send videos with their dog off leash to show me how much their dog knows. You're missing the point. On leash, 3, 4, 5 minutes of you playing tug with your dog. With those 2 videos, we could have a massive impact on training your dog, especially if you're dealing with behavioral problems, okay? But just keep in mind, guys, people keep sending 5, 6, 7, 10 videos, few seconds long, and their dog's off leash. You're not providing any benefit. I don't care what your dog knows or doesn't know. I don't care. Those 2 videos are very specific for a reason. I'm looking to see how much you know. I'm looking at your handling. I want to see your whole communication system. All right? How do you get the dog to do the things you want? What do you do when the dog does what you want? What do you do when the dog doesn't do what you want? Right? All these things can have a massive impact on dealing with the issues that you're having. Without them, it makes it a lot harder for me to help you. Now, with that being said, there's people that just have a lot of questions they want to go through or need advice on certain subjects where those 2 videos aren't necessary. Okay, that happens all the time too. But if you're dealing with behavioral problems or just want a higher level of obedience, those 2 videos are vital because it allows me to see what you know and don't know. It makes it very easy to help you, okay? So I hope that explains my private lessons, my board and train, my online stuff. If you have any questions, you could ask them right here, put it in the comments, okay? Thank you. Peace.